So I made the first pull and noticed that the air fuel started leaning out a little bit up top. And this particular car has fuel pressure transducer. So I saw that the fuel pressure is dropping from right around 55, 60 psi, falling back to about 35 psi. So we're not sure if it's a fuel pump issue or possibly that it's low on fuel. The fuel gauge says it has a quarter tank, but it may not be registering properly. So we're gonna grab gas real quick, add about 5 gallons to it, and then make another pull and see if that fixes the problem. I took out the variable cam. I just turned it off just to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the fuel pressure's back up.
It was gas.
Yeah, it was gas.
Yeah. So I made a few full throttle pulls, dialed in the ignition timing, and dialed in the Vanos. I was able to pick up a whole bunch of spool in the mid-range and clean up the top end with the variable cam mapping, which is pretty common on any variable cam engine nowadays. Right now the boost is going off the wastegate springs, going off up to 13 pounds and dropping off to about 10 psi. So I'm going to try to make it hold a flat 12-13 psi all the way out to redline. Right now it's putting out 591. It should do, I would say, probably 650, I would guess, with the extra 3 pounds of boost up in the higher PM. So I'm going to dial that in right now. I'm going to set the boost control up, and then that'll probably wrap up the pump gas tune. And then we're going to actually drain the fuel and then do the flex fuel tune and get started with that. So see how it goes. This is what we can do, actually. This can be used for boost control. Hold on. Will it let me do this? Will it let me do this? Mode switch. Yeah, it will. Fucking, that's cool. So we can use mode switch for boost level. So like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Since this will be your traction control toggle, right? Does it still work? I have to fucking, all right. Mode switch, mode switch. Yeah, let me do this. Boost control now will be based on your mode switch, which would be 0, 1, fuck off, 2, 3. God damn it, stop. Right now you're on mode switch 1. So you see how the tach goes to 1? So that tells you what mode switch you're on. If you want to hit mode switch 2, that'll jump to 2. That'll jump to 3. And then if you want to bump it down to mode switch 2, it'll go to 2. Same thing with 1. And then on the boost control, this will actually mode switch 1. So like right now, yeah, so mode switch, so right now, mode switch 1 hits my add no more request. Mode switch 2 bumps it up, adds 5 psi to my load request for my psi for my boost. So I'll end up setting this table, so the boost control is going to be boost by gear, and then based on mode switch and flex content. So I'll block you out from being able to switch modes on anything below like maybe, you know, 50% ethanol content in the system. But anything above that, you can, every time you go to the next mode switch, it'll add like 2 or 3 psi increments to whatever, you know what I mean? So it'll keep adding more boost. So if you're like, I want to go and add, that's 2 more pounds. That's 4 more pounds, that's 6 more pounds. So your boost by gear will bias higher and higher. And then you can turn your toggle for your traction control for more or less slip. All right, let's try this now. I'm gonna set the boost control up. Oh, bah, there's too many options.
You're gonna start it?
Yes. Yeah, it's actually, boost control output was like, it was adding like a ton of duty cycle there, but it actually didn't do any it didn't give any output. Why is that? Let me try it again. I don't know, like, I think something was weird with the boost output. So I must not have this output right on this, on the pinout for the outputs here. Oh, that's why. That's weird. I thought I configured that.
What happened?
I thought I assigned this one. This wasn't assigned to the low side output 1.
Oh yeah.
For the boost control, and it wasn't doing shit, which is why the other guy couldn't get it to work either. So. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, like 15, 16.
And you're only at 5,500, right? Oh, 6,400.
65, yeah.
What did it make? 670.
It almost, yeah, because it ramped up to almost 16. That's why, it had no knock, but I just didn't want it to go that high.
So he just forgot to put that.
Yeah.
He forgot to set the.
Yeah, he just didn't set the output. He didn't point it to where it to go for the pin.
So that's why he didn't do shit.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow. This thing's gonna make stupid power, like so easy. Like, if it made that without even trying to push it with flex, I mean, it's gonna be like crazy. So I just finished up the pump gas tune. Boost initially was going up to about 13 pounds, dropping off to about 10. I set up the boost control. We're doing boost by gear and RPM. And we're also doing, there's a mode switch here that actually, when you bump it, it will go to, the tach actually will show you what switch you're on. When it goes to 1,000 RPM, it's switch 1, 2,000, switch 2, all the way out. I have it mapped out for 9 different positions. Also, we have a mode switch here, which is a 12-position switch that each click signifies a different target. This is actually going to be used for the traction control. We're going to be using the wheel speed sensors. It's going to look at the differential speed. So we're going to, position 1 will be the most sensitive, and as we keep each click, we'll allow a larger target slip mile per hour between the front and back wheels, so that the traction control can essentially be shut off if you spun it all the way to the position 12. So that's the next thing after we drain the fuel out, we get it running on ethanol, get the flex fuel content all set up. We're going to tune it out, use the mode switch to keep increasing the boost levels, make sure all that's good, and then finally we're going to set up the traction control so that it keeps the car under control when you're running a whole bunch of power. But this thing on ethanol should make a ton of power. Can't wait. It's going to be pretty sweet. So we're going to drain the gas and get the ethanol in. It's gonna go up a little bit once I keep cycling it. It's close to 80. It'll add more fuel as it goes up. Like it'll be able to do it. So. Because I mean that's 16. That's mode switch 3. Yeah. How much power? What do you want to make? Just go. I mean, he said like right around like 21 pounds to 25.
What was that at?
16.
16.
Does everything look all right?
So far, yeah.
You need to let your dyno cool on?
It's not cooling down. So.
I don't know, 800?
That's probably like, I mean, you could always come back and turn it up later, but you want to drive it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's going to be retarded fast. Like, so,
I'll go to 18. I'll make mode switch 4 go to 18. So I just did the last pull on E85. It's actually, the content level is about E60 right now. I have the boost biased based on flex fuel content, as well as the mode switch here. So right now it's on, we have it on mode switch 5. I don't know if you can get that in the camera. Right now the tach, when I hit this, it goes up to 5,000. That's mode switch 5. That's 20 PSI. Mode switch 4 is about 18 PSI. Mode switch 3 is 16. Mode switch 2 is 14. And then lastly, mode switch 1 is 13 PSI, which is essentially what the wastegate level is. You know, we did 670 on pump gas. We did 830 with 650 torque on E60 at 20 PSI. This is a street car. It could definitely do over 1,000. We're not going to keep pushing it. The duty cycle on the injectors is around 68% right there on the 1700s. I mean, overall, the build is solid. The car obviously makes power. At this point, we're going to take it, make sure the traction control is going to be dialed in. That's going to be the next thing. Because this car is drive-by-wire, we have the option to modulate throttle, as well as pull ignition timing, cut ignition timing, or cut fuel to keep the car under proper traction. So we're going to try to dial that in and see what works the smoothest. Typically I use a combination of heavy ignition retard, and then sometimes with the drive-by-wire it works as well. So yeah, I mean, at this point we're going to pull it off and see how it drives, see how everything is, and pretty happy with the way everything turned out. So I just wrapped up finishing this 2001 BMW M3 Turbo. Made some solid numbers. E85, we put down 835 and 650 torque. Pump gas, it did 670 and 5-something torque. I don't remember offhand. So it made solid numbers. Has a lot of cool features that we enable. Has a lot of fail-safe setup. So you know, between knock control, oil pressure protection, fuel pressure protection, overheating protection. You know, this thing has pretty much the works that you can do with the Infiniti. So it should be a solid street car, and the most important thing is be safe and be able to run at that power level without having any issues, you know, long term. So you know, I'm pretty happy with the results. You know, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.